I found the best Pokémon for every field condition in competitive doubles. What I'm counting as a field condition is any effect set by a move and or ability that lasts 5 turns and affects the whole battlefield, so Safeguard, Screens, Tailwind, and the Pledge effects do not count as they all only affect one side. Also no Water Sport or Mud Sport because they wouldn't be interesting to talk about. So, our list of field conditions are all 4 weather, all 4 terrain, all 3 rooms, and gravity, which is basically an honorary room. I'll be selecting 2 Pokemon for each condition, 1 setter and 1 non-setter that can best abuse the field condition. If applicable for the condition, I'll be mentioning restricted legendaries and gimmick form Pokemon separately, because I think it's a little unfair to give them all the credit with them being exceptionally strong and limited in their legality, but I did still want to mention them somewhere. Primal Weather will be entirely banned though. Starting off with Rain, the best setter is Pelipper. It shouldn't be a surprise that all 8 weather and terrain setter picks will be Pokemon with abilities that set those conditions, because setting it with an ability is so much more efficient than having to spend a turn setting it manually with a move. Pelipper gets the pick over Politoed because of how its 2 main stab moves both take advantage of rain. Weather Ball changes type and gets a power boost, and Hurricane becomes perfectly accurate, whereas Politoed just gets Weather Ball. It also has better supporting moves like Tailwind, Helping Hand, Knockoff, and the important pivoting move U-Turn to help reset Drizzle. The only restricted or gimmick Pokemon with Drizzle is Kyogre, and it's one of the strongest competitive Pokemon of all time due to its ability to set Rain, 150 special attack, and 2 high power spread moves in Water Spout and Origin Pulse. If you have the speed control and max HP for full damage on Water Spout, this thing's damage output is insanely high. Best Abuser goes to Basculegion Male. This one was really close, with Archaludon and Urshifu Rapid being the next top picks, but I gave the pick to Basculegion because it uses Rain in 2 different ways, not just one. Archaludon just uses it to make Electroshot fire off in 1 turn, and Urshifu Rapid just uses it to boost the damage from Surging Strikes. Basculegion uses it to activate its ability Swift Swim to double its speed and to boost the damage from its water-type moves, mainly Wave Crash. Best restricted or gimmick abuser is Mega Swampert, the only Mega with Swift Swim. Despite not being in Champions at the moment, things are looking pretty good for Mega Swampert, as I mentioned in my Pokemon We Need Back in Champions video. Unlike Mega Starmie that doesn't get any boost to its speed and lacks spread damage, Mega Swampert has stab spread damage with Earthquake and has better bulk, so while we haven't seen it in action since Gen 7, I have high hopes for it when it returns. For Harsh Sunlight, the best setter is Torkoal. Its main selling point over Ninetales is that it gets the very powerful spread move Eruption, has slightly higher special attack, learns Earth Power, and has really low speed, which allows it to work well in Trick Room. Throw on a Charcoal, Choice Specs, Helping Hand, Terra Fire, or whatever damage boost the format allows, and this thing has really high damage output. Best restricted or gimmick Pokemon might surprise you, but I'm gonna go with Mega Charizard Y over Groudon and Koraidon. It comes down to the fact that Mega Charizard Y is Fire type and a special attacker, while neither Groudon nor Koraidon are. Groudon and Koraidon have to rely on Terra, and there also just doesn't exist a physical Fire-type spread move, unlike Special that has Heat Wave, with Special also having Weather Ball and Solar Beam, 2 moves with unique interactions in Sun. Weather Ball is good for strong single target damage, and Solar Beam is good for hitting the Water and Rock types that resist Fire. Physical does have Solar Blade, but neither Groudon nor Koraidon can learn it. Best Abuser goes to Hisuian Lilligant. It gets the ability Chlorophyll to double its already good speed of 105, allowing it to do 2 main things: Fast Sleep Powder and Fast After You to allow its partner to move next, usually Torkoal. While it's not a Fire type and can't take advantage of its stab moves getting an additional boost in Sun, it does get Solar Blade, which becomes a 1-turn move in the Sun. Best restricted or gimmick abuser goes to Gigantamax Charizard. It gets the ability Solar Power, which increases its special attack by 50% in Sun, and the 1/8 chip damage it takes every turn is calculated from its original HP, so it's actually only 1/16 of its Gigantamax HP. It has access to Max Airstream, which boosts its own and partner's speed by 1 stage after use, and gets the signature max move G-Max Wildfire, which tops out at 150 power and deals 1/6 chip damage to all non-fire types for 4 turns. For Sandstorm, the best setter is Tyranitar. It has by far the best stats out of all sand setters, as it is a pseudo-legendary after all, and while it has a terrible typing in Rock Dark, the rock typing means that it still gets the 50% special defense boost, unlike Hippowdon and Sandaconda since they're just ground type. It gets set up to be faster and stronger with Dragon Dance, and set up to be slower and stronger with Curse if you want to use it in Trick Room. It gets solid stab with Rock Slide and Knockoff and great coverage options, both physical and special. The best restricted or gimmick sand setter is Mega Tyranitar, which along with Mega Scizor is kind of the epitome of just the base form but stronger. It gets the same ability, same typing, and its stat bump just increases its stats all around. Not saying that this is a bad thing, but it doesn't really give it any different of a role than it had in its base form. Best Abuser goes to Excadrill. It gets the ability Sand Rush to double its speed in sand, and has the highest attack stat out of any Sand Rush user. It gets solid stab with Earthquake, High Horsepower, and Iron Head, and while Rock Slide isn't stab, a spread move with a 30% chance to flinch both opponents that can consistently go first is very threatening to have. Really no good restricted or gimmick abuser, since no one uses Sandforce Mega Steelix or Mega Garchomp, but if I had to pick, I guess it would be Mega Garchomp. Hey, it's me from the future. So Wolfie just got 2nd place at Indianapolis Regionals with Mega Steelix, and it turns out that Mega Steelix has more results than Mega Garchomp anyway, so best restricted or gimmick sand abuser actually goes to Mega Steelix. For Snow, the best setter is Alolan Ninetales. Slightly better stats than Cantonian Ninetales, with it also getting the powerful Fairy typing, but instead of having a powered up Heat Wave, it gets a perfectly accurate Blizzard and Aurora Veil. If Light Clay is in the format, Aurora Veil becomes one of the most annoying moves to have to deal with, as it will essentially give your whole team +1 defense and special defense for the whole game. That goes on top of the defense boost that Ice types receive in Snow, making Alolan Ninetales quite bulky. Best restricted or gimmick setter goes to Mega Frostlass. While we've only had it for a couple months at the time I'm making this video, I think it's safe to say that Mega Frostlass is going to have more success than Mega Abomasnow. It has higher stats in all the parts that matter, and has a better typing offensively since you don't get walled by both Steel and Fire, and a better typing defensively since you don't have a 4x weakness, have 2 fewer weaknesses total, and have 2 immunities. Best Abuser goes to Articuno. I really wanted to give this pick to Arctozolt since it's the best Slush Rush user on paper, but due to its absence in Scarlet and Violet, the game that changed the Ice-type weather condition from hail to snow, it's just a little too hard to tell how it would perform, unlike Mega Swampert since rain wasn't changed in any way. Articuno has the ability Snow Cloak, which increases its evasiveness by 20% in snow, and when combined with the Bright Powder, the defense boost it gets, and its already good defenses, it can stay alive for pretty long and spam perfectly accurate blizzards. Best restricted snow abuser goes to Kyurem White, the strongest special attacking ice type in the game. Enough said. For Misty Terrain, the best setter is Tapu Fini. Misty Terrain is probably the most defensive field condition in the game, as it does not boost the power of any move except for Misty Explosion, but rather it prevents status conditions and halves the power of Dragon-type moves, and this helps complement Tapu Fini's whole kit very well. It's the most defensively built out of the Tapus, with 70, 115, 130 bulk, and a great offensive and defensive typing, Water Fairy. It can set up and go on offense with Calm Mind, Moonblast, and Muddy Water, or be more of a supporter with things like Nature's Madness, Icy Wind, Haze, and Heal Pulse. Best Abuser is one that I don't feel very strong about, Hawlucha. It's the second best Unburdened Pokemon, and the reason that I didn't give it to the first best Unburdened Pokemon, Sneasler, is that it has anti-synergy with its signature move. Direclaw's whole thing is inflicting status, and Misty Terrain straight up prevents that. Using up its item also allows for Hawlucha's main stab move, Acrobatics, to double in power. The reason that I don't feel super strong about this pick is because Hawlucha also has a component of anti-synergy with Misty Terrain, which is that it's flying type, so it doesn't even get the benefit of a status immunity. For Grassy Terrain, the best setter is Rillaboom. This pick was about as free as Tornadus being the best mono flying type because there aren't any other Pokemon that set Grassy Terrain. None at all. Okay, there is one, Arboliva, and while Seed Sower can allow you to reset Grassy Terrain once you're already on the field, it's still overall less consistent than having it activate on switch-in. Rillaboom also doesn't just set Grassy Terrain, it has a few tools to really use it to its full potential. It gets Grassy Glide, which gains priority and gets boosted from Grassy Terrain, Wood Hammer, which is just a really strong grass move that also gets boosted, and like Pelipper, it has U-turn to pivot out and help reactivate Grassy Surge. Rillaboom is probably the best abuser too, but if I were to pick a separate non-setting abuser, I'd probably go with Ogerpon Hearthflame. It's the most offensive out of the Ogerpon forms due to its more offensive ability and boost to its attack when it terras, as opposed to Cornerstone and Wellspring that get defensive abilities and boost to defensive stats when they terra. As for Teal Mask, well, you probably wouldn't want to have two mono grass types on your team, since it's not like it benefits from Grassy Terrain that much. There's no grass type restricted legendary other than base form Calyrex, and we've never had a mega format with Rillaboom, so the best restricted abuser is going to be one that takes advantage of the healing most, and I think Terapagos is the best fit. It wants to be at max HP to get as many uses of Terra Shell as it can, which helps it to set up safer with Calm Mind. As soon as it terras though, it completely wipes away the terrain, so next restricted pick would probably be Zamazenta, as it's built very defensively, but can't hold an item for recovery and doesn't learn any recovery moves. For Electric Terrain, the best setter is Tapu Koko. Another one where the setter pick was completely free, since Pincurchin is terrible. Despite having higher physical attack, it almost always goes full special because most physical electric and fairy moves suck. It has high speed at 130, stab with Thunderbolt and Dazzling Gleam, stab pivoting with Volt Switch, speed control with Electro Web, and great supporting moves like Taunt, Nature's Madness, and both screens. Best abuser goes to Iron Hands. It has the combination of an ability that activates on electric terrain to boost its highest stat, almost always attack, and the electric typing so that its moves that are already getting boosted by stab are getting an additional 30% boost from the terrain. It's a shame that Wild Charge is its best physical option since it has recoil damage, but it works fine for Iron Hands since it has such high HP. Best restricted or gimmick setter and abuser goes to Miraidon, one of the most broken Pokemon of all time. It has the same synergy as Iron Hands, being an electric type whose ability grants a boost in electric terrain, only even better since it gets a 33% special attack boost and is a special attacker, so it has way better attacking options including Draco Meteor and its signature move Electro Drift for stab, Volt Switch for stab pivoting, and Dazzling Gleam for coverage. Throw on a choice specs, and this thing probably has the strongest no setup single target damage in the game. Hey, it's me from the future again. It was just revealed that Mega Raichu X will be getting Electric Surge, and while we can't really say anything about it until it's actually legal, if I'm lumping together Megas with restricted legendaries, it's still Miraidon and it's not even close. I am still interested to see how Mega Raichu X plays in the meta though. For Psychic Terrain, the best setter is Indeedee Female. While it's not as defensive of a terrain as Misty, since it actually provides a boost to Psychic type moves, its defensive value of blocking priority moves is one of the most important parts about it, as Fake Out is extremely common, with Prankster being common as well. Indeedee Female is also the only Pokemon on this list that gets Redirection with Follow Me, and the combination of an ability that sets a field condition that blocks priority and redirection so that its ally can be more free to do what it wants makes it one of the best supporting Pokemon in VGC. Best abuser is tough because a lot of mons get expanding force now, but I think I gotta give it to Iron Crown over Hatterene or Armarouge. While it has the lowest special attack out of the three, it has the best bulk and speed, with its ability providing the easiest form of speed control out of the three. Hatterene takes a turn to set up with Trick Room, and Armarouge takes a turn to set up with Weak Armor or Trick Room. Iron Crown is ready on switch-in with a Cork Drive booster energy boost to basically give it the boost of a Choice Scarf without being locked into a move. Best Restricted or Gimmick Abuser goes to Calyrex Shadow, another one of the most broken Pokemon of all time. While it already has a 120 base power stab spread move to spam, the nice thing about this one is that Psychic Terrain blocks priority, so it can't be shut down by Sucker Punch, the main thing that usually keeps it in check. I'd still like to know who thought that this was a good idea. For Trick Room, the best setter is for Farigiraf. Like in DD Female, it blocks priority, but as a direct effect of its ability Armor Tail, so that blocking effect can't be overridden by another field condition. It has that in its favor over Cresselia, as well as the normal typing to get rid of its ghost weakness, giving it only 2 regular weaknesses to Bug and Dark. It also has lower speed and higher special attack than Cresselia, making it a better abuser of Trick Room itself and arguably just as good of a supporter since it gets Helping Hand, Psychic Noise, and Imprison. Best abuser goes to Ursaluna. Its stats are tailor-made to be a Trick Room sweeper, and its typing, ability, and move pool all complement that very well. Guts Boosted Facade deletes everything in its path that doesn't resist, and anything that does resist is getting deleted by Headlong Rush. It also has spread damage with Earthquake, with the only thing slowing it down being Intimidate since it can't hold the Clear Amulet if it's already holding the Flame Orb. Best Restricted Setter and also Abuser goes to Calyrex Ice. It has some of the best bulk in the entire game, combined with one of the highest attack stats in the entire game, so it's no surprise that it's the best setter and the best abuser. It can hold the Clear Amulet to be unaffected by Intimidate, gets a boost to its attack on every knockout, and like Calyrex Shadow, it has a 120 base power stab spread move to spam. For Magic Room, the best setter is Tapu Lele. Magic Room had one niche and one niche only, which was counterplay to Xerneas. Since Magic Room has 0 priority and will take effect immediately after used, Tapu Lele could use Choice Scarf Magic Room to disable the effect of Xerneas' Power Herb, forcing Geomancy to take 2 turns, making it a little more manageable to deal with. Since Tapu Lele also sets Psychic Terrain, it couldn't get faked out or Prankster taunted to stop it from using Magic Room, and after use, Tapu Lele wouldn't even be choice locked since Magic Room disables that effect too. There is no good abuser of Magic Room, as it is a very gimmicky field condition. The best use I could find was as a way for Pokemon to set up while holding a choice item that will reactivate once the room runs out. I saw Hayden using a strategy that involved Choice Band Belly Drum Azumarill, which gives it an ungodly amount of attack, allowing it to spam Aqua Jets to one-shot its opponents, so I guess I'll give it to Azumarill, although I don't feel super strong about this pick. Alright, for Wonder Room, I got nothing. It was hard finding something for Magic Room, and Wonder Room was even harder. I haven't bothered explaining what these conditions do because they're all pretty well known, and I have all the explanations on screen, but this one might still need a refresher. Wonder Room flips the defense and special defense stats of all Pokemon on the field. What a useless field condition. I guess I'll say Grimmsnarl because it's probably the best Prankster Pokemon that gets Wonder Room, and like Magic Room, Wonder Room has 0 priority normally, so it can be used with increased priority from Prankster. I couldn't find any good abusers, but let me know if you can think of anything. It's me from the future one last time. It turns out that Grimmsnarl only learned Wonder Room in Sword and Shield since the TM for it was removed in Scarlet and Violet. So unless it gets it back in Champions, there's actually not even any good setters. Finally for Gravity, the best setter is Sableye. It's one of 2 Prankster Gravity users, with the other one being Meowstic Male, and while it does have better stats than Sableye, Sableye's Dark and Ghost typing comes with 2 big advantages. Dark means that it's unaffected by opposing Prankster boosted moves, and Ghost means that it's immune to Fake Out, 2 of the main ways that Meowstic could be stopped from setting up Gravity. Best Abuser unironically goes to Flapple. There's 2 ways that Flapple takes advantage of Gravity. First is that it increases the power of its signature move Grab Apple by 50%, which by the way got buffed from 80 to 90 power in Champions, so it gets boosted to 135 power. This move also comes with a guaranteed defense drop as a nice bonus. The second is that it allows Flapple to comfortably use its hidden ability Hustle, which boosts its attack by 50% at the cost of a 20% reduction in accuracy, which gets set back to 100 due to gravity increasing accuracy. It can use moves as low as 75% accuracy like Dragon Rush and will still have 100% accuracy after both modifiers. Best restricted abuser goes to Groudon. The main appeal of gravity for Groudon is that it makes its signature move Precipice Blades 100% accurate and grounds flying types and levitators so that they can be hit. The only two types that resist ground, by the way, Grass and Bug, are weak to fire, and Groudon usually carries at least one fire type move. And that's the best Pokemon for every field condition in competitive doubles. Let me know if you disagree with any of my picks, and if any picks would be different in singles. Thanks to everyone who contributed on the community post I made, since I was a little unsure at first of what Pokemon to include and exclude. Also let me know if you can think of anything for Wonder Room, since I couldn't think of anything, as well as Mud Sport and Water Sport since I excluded them. Anyway, if you want to support me and my channel, just leave a nice comment. If you want to take it a step further, you can become a member for as low as 99 US cents a month to get a badge next to your name and early video access like all of these lovely people. Shout out to my level 2 members, Lukey Skywalker, Zephyro, Luke Mileto, Silksong, Codename Unknown, Jaden, and John for your extra support. I have a second channel, Extra Bell, where I post unscripted videos and videos I've scrapped from the main channel, and a Twitch channel where I occasionally stream champions. Likes are also one of the ways that YouTube determines if a video should be passed around to more people, so if you feel that this video deserves to be, I would appreciate it. Thanks for watching.